Any further questions? Yes, ma'am.
My question's also for Mr. Gaines. You were the only one that made reference to with bringing in new business or helping businesses already here stay with better services downtown. And I'm thinking you're referring to the 8th floor. Can you tell me if the problem down there is more procedural or more training, or do you have any ideas on how we fix that problem when we have a businessman go down there to get what he needs to grow?
Well, some of it is obviously the procedure. I mean, you're dealing with the city and the county. But a lot of it, honestly, comes back to something I've seen in the 28 years that I've worked for the city. Is I've seen a feeling of complacency start to come into government. And I'm not saying not all employees, because Fort Wayne has some great employees that work hard. But there are some people that have been there for so long, or they have an attitude that they forget why they are there and who they serve and why they even exist. You know, if you come downtown and I want to do business and I get an attitude from somebody that's working behind a counter, I mean, that turns you off as a business owner, and so people get frustrated. They eventually say, you know what, I'm not even going to try this. I'm going to go somewhere else that people are going to be more friendly. So it comes down to a complacency that is developed in government, and where they become insensitive to the taxpayers who are their customers. And until we change that, I don't care how much money we throw at the problem, I don't care about all the other things we talk about, until we change the attitude of some of those people and we change the attitude of government, nothing's going to change in Fort Wayne. And so the only way we change that, we need to start talking about the serious problems and come up with some serious solutions and get it done. I don't want to take another 30 years to make something happen in Fort Wayne. That is ridiculous.
Additional questions?
Can we sort that question around?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Russ.
Okay, thank you. That's a question that's near and dear to my heart. I'm sorry, that's why I really wanted to jump in. A couple months ago, I can give a great example. I sold the former First Source Bank building, which is right across the street from Macy's, very close to the most visible intersection in our city. The gentleman that bought it is a nail salon owner who had a business in Angola, wanted to relocate to Fort Wayne. Was not going to make any great major newspaper headlines. The only thing he wanted to verify was what the city ordinance setbacks were, and I explained him what they were, and he rightfully went downtown to make sure that there wouldn't be any trouble when he when he submitted his development plan with those setbacks. He left that meeting and came back to me and said, "I'm sorry, Russ, the city said I can't buy the property." That's exactly the sort of thing that we get. And unfortunately, we hear those stories way too often. It is both cultural, it is both structural. There are things that we can do to adjust it. I would have liked to have seen us try to do more of a one-stop shop with all these various entities that we have created that can push business owners out of their offices and send them across the street. We can also set up business liaisons that would walk them through the whole labyrinth. But ultimately, the problem lies in, the question isn't, yes, what can we do to help you? It's no, now what are you asking me? And we just see it too often, and it's not going to be easy to fix, but those are the first steps to fixing the problem.
Well, the first step would be to elect Zach Bonahum as clerk. I mean, to be honest, because everything starts right there. You know, as I said, I'm the financial secretary for St. Paul's, and we bought the parking lot on the corner of Bar Street right there by the Y. And there's an alley that sits there, and we wanted to vacate that alley. It took us 9 months to vacate an alley. We weren't building a 20-story addition onto our building. We just wanted to vacate an alley and dress up that corner and have a nice parking lot. You know, some of it was due to the city process. You know, we had to deal with utilities. And each utility had their own separate form. There wasn't one form for all utilities, so we had to go to Frontier and fill out their form. We had to go to Comcast and fill out their form. You know, fortunately, we had an attorney that could walk us through the process. I couldn't imagine what you would do if you didn't have that kind of person to help you. So it is definitely the process, and I agree, it's definitely the attitude. It's not necessarily, there's not that extra step. There's not that follow-up question is, well, no, you really can't do that. But here's another way of getting it done. We need to be more proactive instead of just a quick reaction.
Any other questions from the public? Okay, I thank you gentlemen very much for your participation. Again, I am Drew Blair with News Channel 15. I thank the IPFW College Republicans for asking me to moderate the event tonight, and I hope everyone enjoyed yourselves, and thank you for attending. Have a good night.